Hello guys, what's up? Welcome back to a Coder's Journey. This is the 12th episode of our course about CQRS and the mediator library. In this episode, I am going to show you how to trigger the notification that we created in the previous video. So basically, in the previous video, uh, we created this notification called employee added notification, as you can see here. And then we created two different handlers for this notification called cache invalidation handler, right? This is the email added notification, and email handler, employee added notification. So both of these handlers are responsible for handling this notification whenever this notification is triggered. Now, the only thing that remains for us is to trigger this notification, which is the topic of this episode. I am going to navigate to episode 12, by the way, and back to my notes. Let me zoom in so that we can, episode 12, I think, yes, here it is. So this section shows how to trigger this notification when we are adding new employees. So if you remember, inside of that controller, we had an action method called add employee. If you take a look here, right? So this add employee is responsible for adding an employee based on the post request that is going to arrive here, right here. So we are going to get the employee from the body of our request, and then what we are going to do is to send the command that we created before, add employee command. We are going to pass in the employee to this command. We're going to use mediator.send, and then in order to trigger a notification, what we are going to do is to call the publish method on our mediator. So the mediator has the send method, which is used when you want to dispatch or send a query or a command, and then it has this publish method, which is used when you want to trigger or publish a notification. So again, as before, we are going to create an object of type employee added notification, and then the employee added notification, it needs to get like an employee, right? So if you take a look here inside of this notification, we are going to get the employee as our input parameter. Then inside our handlers, we are going to update the name of that employee, provided that that employee is present inside of our data store. So basically here we are going to pass in the employee, right? The employee that we have added to the database. Using this command, we are going to capture whatever that command returns, which is this case is the employee. Then we're going to publish our notification past that employee to this notification, and then we are going to return like this result from this method created at action. And then this is going to, of course, as before, set the location header of our response. So if I go to my controller here, if you take a look inside of this add employee, this is what is happening right now. So I can zoom in so that you guys can better see what is happening. As before, we are using our mediator to do two different things. The first one is sending the command. The next one is publishing the notification. And whenever that notification is published, based on our configuration inside of our program.cs here, right, the mediator knows that right now there are two handlers for this notification that need to be invoked in order to handle this notification. So back to our note. After sending the command, we now also call the publish. This publishes the notification. Mediator will find and execute all registered handlers for this notification. And in this case, there are two, handlers, email handler and cache invalidation handler. And then for simplicity, we place the notification publishing directly inside of the controller action. We could also have done this within the add employee handler itself. So basically, what this is saying is that instead of publishing the notification inside of our controller, we could publish it inside of the handler that is handling the command. So inside of this, I mean, if you take a look here, we've got this add employee command and we've got this add employee handler. It is also possible to add this employee here, and from here, use mediator to publish the notification. And that is also one, option. So now we can do what? We can test the notification. We can run the application. We can send a GET request to our employees, and then we can add a new employee, and then we will see that if we get all employees again, the name of that employee will get updated. So I'm going to run the application. So now, if I go to this HTTP file, first off, I can get all of my employees. So right now I've got 3 employees. And when I add a new employee, right? When I add a new employee using this endpoint, first that employee is going to get added using the command, and then that notification is going to get published. And for that notification, there are 2 handlers, and those 2 handlers are going to update the name of that added employee with those 2, suffixes, email something, what was it? With these 2, cache invalidated and email sent, right? So let's do this. Again, there are 3 employees here. I'm going to send a get a post request in order to create an employee. So this is the employee, right? And as you can see, the name of that employee was updated with those 2 handlers. And if I get all employees right now, you will see that this, employee has the updated name. So this is what the handlers can do for us. And of course, if we do not want a specific handler for a notification, all we need to do is to disable it. For example, we can come here, we can, comment out this piece of code, and we can disable this, notification handler for that specific employee added notification. And that means that only one handler, in this case, this handler, will be handling that notification. So back to my notes. So you should observe that the name of the newly added employee and potentially others, if their IDs match the existing ones due to the simple something, has been updated to include event messages. This demonstrates that both notification handlers were executed. The key takeaway here is that we can trigger an event and have it handled multiple times without the producer, the controller in this case, needing to know the specifics of each handler. This is the beauty of notifications, right? So as I told you again, inside of your controller, here, your action method doesn't know at all what will happen when this notification gets published. It doesn't know how many handlers are going to handle this notification. It doesn't know what those handlers are going to do with this notification. It just knows that this employee was added, which is of course again, added using a command. And again, your controller doesn't know how the command is going to get handled, the command for adding a new employee. It doesn't know when it publishes or when it sends out this command what will happen. It doesn't have any idea what the handler of this command will do. It could communicate with a database, it could communicate with a backend API, whatever. And then again, it doesn't know what will happen after this notification is published. It just knows that because the employee was added, it can safely publish this notification. And of course here, what we can do, you can also take a look at my, I've got this other series on my channel about the result pattern. So basically what, for example, we can do inside of this handler, and this is something that I have done inside of my modular monolith course. So using the mediator, you can combine it with the result pattern. So using, for example, a NuGet package like our Dallas.result, and then you can check the returned result of this send method. If, for example, it is successful, then you can publish your notification. If it is not successful, you can publish another notification saying that, you know what, the employee couldn't be added to the database, and now your handlers are going to handle this, edge case. So it is going to be, I think, a good piece of homework for you as well. You can refactor this method and incorporate the result pattern and verify the output of your command. And if it is success, then you can use mediator to publish this notification. And if it is a failure, result, then you can use mediator to publish another notification. And that was it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video till the very end. We're not finished yet. I told you we're gonna have like probably 17 different episodes. So stay tuned for the upcoming videos. And yeah, that's it. Take care. Bye-bye.